Welcome to Bears Banter. My name's Bilal Muhammad. We got Keith Floyd Noyd, also known as Plank. Man, Bears fall again. What's going on, Plank?
Man, this is just historically sad. That was a horrible game, a horrible display of football play that I saw out on the field. That was one of the worst Bears losses I've seen in a number of years. I'm talking a couple decades.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Watching this game today, it's weird, Plank, because when I looked at this game, the first 5 minutes, I kind of detected the same thing I thought I detected last week. I thought the team had low energy. And I don't know why I felt that way, but when first 5 minutes of the game, I said, man, they don't look like they got it. And I know I was borderline. I went on and succumbed to being a homer this weekend and picked the Bears, but I really thought all the factors indicated that they had quit on the coach. So I actually did not really deep down believe they would beat the Cardinals. I think they're tail spinning now. That's the best way to describe it right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that we can get past this week without talking about Tyreek Stevenson. Okay, last week when we watched the game, at that point we had no idea that the Hail Mary play that Tyreek Stevenson had decided to be trying to taunt the fans and had his back turned to the play for 5 seconds. Then he turns around, tries to come into play, and he ends up being the guy that not only tips the ball, but tips the ball to the guy that he's supposed to be guarding. So, you know, that was a historic failure of coaching as well as play. Uh, the reason that I say it was a failure of coaching is because Eberflus had 3 timeouts. He had an opportunity to take a timeout, get his team ready, and he just did an epic fail. I know there's been some arguments about whether or not we can blame this on the coach, but I've actually been listening to a number of pundits as well, and we're not the only ones that are saying that Eberflus actually, made this game so much harder than it had to be. So that's where we're at.
Hey, what's up, guy? Welcome to the show. I know you having a little challenges right now, and I'm thankful that you could get on. You want to share anything right now, guy?
You said, "What's up?" Never us in a score today. You know what? Basically, these guys were brought in to change the culture, man. But if you get a guy, I mean, sure, the players have to play and stuff like that, but the coach has to be the adult in the room to kind of sort of, put everything together. And anytime you got a coach that really doesn't make second half adjustments, then he's no more than us. So I'm not going to sit up here and point fingers, say somebody should be fired, this, that, third, but everybody on their roster needs to just look in the mirror real hard and just try to figure out what the hell do they want to do this year. Do they want to tank out or do they want to have some couillons and ball out? But this was not a good game, man. This was probably the worst game that we've played this year by far.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Absolutely.
And, as much as we all Bears fans, and I know I'm always gonna be optimistic when the season starts. One of the things I did say is when it's for the season start, I said you can't win on paper. You got to win on the field, right? And that's one of the things. And I do question how do you perceive forward with Eberflus as your head coach? I know last week, we were having this discussion about him losing control of the players and some of the stuff like what Plank just talked about Stevenson, that I still believe that falls on the coaching. And I think basically this team quit on it. And I'm going to give you a good example of something that happened today early in this game that showed is poor coaching. You basically had a play on the goal line where they kicked the field goal and there was a flag. To me, in that situation, you call timeout because they have been battling so hard and the field goal goes on the board, it comes back off and they get a new set of downs. Right. Call timeout to let them know, hey, we did a great job stopping them, but that penalty going, let's see if we get another stop. at least you're giving you guys a rest. What do? They turn around, they don't call no timeouts, and they ended up scoring 2 plays later after that. They had kicked that field goal. So that's poor management of not recognizing. And like, hey, guy, you always joke about Madden. Even on Madden, we call timeouts.
Timeouts need to be gone by the second quarter.
Hey, you know what, guys? Me and Bernard were talking earlier this week, talking about how Eberflus can, shore up some of his deficiencies. And we got to talking about maybe this guy should learn how to play Madden a little bit to be better at making in-game decisions, because he's more of a fan that's watching the game versus a guy that can direct or affect change in the game.
That's the best analogy that I've heard, man. That is spot on, because you know what? Here's the deal. Anytime that you see guys run an offense, and a lot of times they consistently run like a no-huddle offense, it makes you feel like they're not prepared, or they're afraid that they're trying to catch somebody off guard. My thing is, run your offense, use your timeouts, look at where you are. Now, in that series that you were talking about, they should have called a timeout and reset. They were in such a hurry, but it just seems like, it's a couple things. Just like I can even go on about Stevenson, man. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but he shouldn't have played today at all. Win, lose, or draw, because now what happens is you're losing your locker room as it is. And now you get a guy make the stupidest play in the history of the NFL, stuff that they teach you in Pee Wee ball, and your only punishment is you miss 2 series. So it tells everybody else, like, okay, now I can trick off. If I make a mistake, it's no big deal. I may take a series off. These guys they're paid to be athletes. And I know that a lot of people would probably be pundits and tell me about, you're putting too much on them. But ask any of these athletes if they want to trade what they're doing with the guy who's running a multi-billion-dollar company that makes about a quarter of what he makes, and have to make some real decisions. Your only decision is run through the gap that you're given. Make sure that you don't miss your assignments. Keep your head on a swivel. And most importantly, don't do nothing stupid, but that's just me. And as I would say, my guy Jay would say, I digress.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Bernard. I had a couple other data points about Eberflus that I've been chomping at the bit to get to. During the game, one of the statistics that that the broadcasters actually showed was Matt Eberflus is 0-17 versus winning teams on Sunday.
Wow.
I should have looked at that and knew to go against the Bears today just because of that. But 0-17. And according to Eric Lambert, he's a reporter at Sports Mockery. They went all the way back to 2018 to see what Eberflus's career has been. And Eberflus has not been able. There's 24 instances since 2018 where he was able to, he was up on the score and gave up the winning touchdown as a defensive coordinator, or his defense played some role in it. So this is, as much as we thinking these are, boneheaded plays that he's just started making, he's been making these kind of decisions for years. So I don't know how we can overcome this.
Yeah, this is funny how from all our years of playing sports, watching sports, some of us coaching sports, that bad coaching when you see it. Hey, shout out to Sterling, bro. Sterling called me and we was talking the fourth quarter, because I really tuned out the fourth quarter. I wasn't paying no attention. So after they got that punt that landed on the one, I actually told Sterling what was about to happen. He said, what's about to happen? I said, because they're dumb. I said, what they're going to do is, I said, they're going to probably run on first. I said, second, they're going to pass, but then they're going to have a penalty and it's going to be a safety. And he's like, so I laughed when it happened. I said, man, you called it. I said, yeah, because that's the stuff that dumb coaching does. I said, anybody who knows anything about coaching, what you would have did was brought your power backs in, and you would have just ran 3 straight plays just to get enough room for your punter to punt the ball. Now, if you end up getting more and you end up getting the first, power to you. But other than that, you cannot be finesse when you backed up in the end zone, and you don't want your quarterback to be dropping back, because most likely that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to hold or you're going to do something because why? He had been under pressure all day. So why do you think they wasn't going to dial up pressure? And I think the game started off better because they initially was only rushing 3 to 4 people. But as it got to the second quarter, they started putting 6 in the box saying, we don't think you could block our guys.
I think one of the worst decisions this guy that Eberflus made today is he actually left Caleb Williams in the game with like 3 minutes left. There was no way that we were going to score. We knew we were behind, a kind of bubblegum offensive line, and he kept his rookie franchise quarterback in there just to take additional hits. Caleb Williams took 6 sacks today. So, you had him out there. We had a backup quarterback that we could have went into. Just have him hike the ball and hand it off or whatever. But he still had Caleb Williams passing. And that next to the last play, I think he ended up hurting himself, or not hurting himself, but getting hurt as a result of him being out there trying to compete. So that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Because you look at you see in games where a game get out of reach, that teams sometimes take out the veteran quarterback, say about 5 or 6 minutes when it's out of reach, because they know their guys is competitive. Those guys going to try to do everything they can, but you got to know when the game is out of reach. And the worst thing you're going to do is your quarterback is getting hit, and then you're trying to do the impossible. You're not about to get 20 points in one quarter when all you gotten was 9 through the game. So that's not about to happen. So you really just not being a good coach. It looked like the team was not prepared. And Jimmy, I do agree with your comment. It do look like their offense took a step back. It looked like they took a step back last week as well.
You know, it's a sign of bad coaching when you look around the league, and even good and bad teams are able to execute certain situations, like being on the right by the goal line. You can have a bad team. They may get 1 yard, they may get a half a yard, or they may get 6 yards, but they usually come out of there, and it's like they came out and then it's like stupid mental plays, like the chop block, which caused them the safety, and I keep saying this thing, man, I use culture. I try to use it sparingly because, I mean, it's really important, man. When you got the prisoners running the asylum, I don't care what you run. I don't care what you do. You're going to lose, man. And the coach has got to be the one to stand up and tell some of these millionaires, look, y'all suck. I don't need to be your friend. I need to be your coach. Because here's another thing that's kind of messing me up with the Eberflus side, too. The Bears have a history of not firing their coaches during the regular season. Man, I think one thing, and I hate to say it, but if they decide to fire Eberflus during the season, it's going to send a wake-up call to a whole lot of cats. But, they're going to probably not do nothing with him until the end of the season. So it's same old same.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm usually the staunchest advocate of defense, and I've tried to, stand up for them. And, they had historical good defense as far as, holding teams under 21 points for 12 straight games. Today, the defense got gashed.
Man.
I think Arizona averaged like 7 yards a carry, and it didn't look like we had any opportunity of actually making a play to stop them. A lot of that had to go with the defensive line, and I know that without Sweat, it had to play an effect. But man, there was nobody touching them until a lot of times they got to the secondary. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah. They was 34 carries for 213 yards.
Oh my God!
You're right, Mike. That's almost 7 yards. That's 6.3 yards per carry.
That's a max contract for somebody.
Sure. Yeah. This was the worst defense I've seen a Bears team play since the Mel Tucker days.
Yeah, me too. I actually do believe at this point, I don't think keeping Eberflus serve any purpose at this point, because I think he lost the locker room. But there are guys that the players have confidence in on any team of certain coaches. I think the Bears had to do one or two things, in my opinion. It may sound premature, but I think all you do is start getting worse loss. I think you consider either one, promoting the special teams coach to be the interim, or you promote Eric Washington to head coach, interim head coach, and you just let him run. You know, he run the defense and run what you call it. And I bring up special teams only because special teams coaches a lot of times know all the personnel and they work with all the personnel group. And so sometimes when teams do in firings within season and they have lack of experience at coaches, they sometimes do promote a special teams coach temporarily to run the team. And because even Mike Dicker, he was a special teams coach with Dallas, and he went from there to a head coach. But I'm not really never advocating that as the first result. I'm really advocating Eric Washington to be promoted because I don't think the OC, he doesn't have the toughness to be a head coach.
He does not.
Yeah.
You know, and I would mirror what you said about promoting Richard Hightower, the special teams coach, except special teams was horrible today too.
They sure was.
Man, that dude kicked that ball, man. My man could kick a ball all the way to France, and he kicked that joker straight up in the air. I was like, okay, it's just gonna be. It's one. When he did that, I was like, that's when I started thinking, like, you know what? Let's just take this L because it's not gonna be good.
You know what, fellas? I was going to give the Bears an excuse that today was daylight savings, but we fell back instead of falling forward. So we got an extra hour to prepare. We could have slept in an extra hour, so they should have been that much more prepared. This, this is horrible, man. And the bad thing about it is I'm usually trying to be optimistic and try to look for a route where we can win. Right now, we're 4-4. We're 500. It doesn't seem like that, though. It seems like the team has no get up and go. I got tired of looking at all the wide receivers looking mad because the ball wasn't what they expected it to be. So you can tell that the coach has lost the team just by seeing some of the body language of the players. So
DJ has 33 catches for 341 yards this year, 8 games in. That's your guy. And it's not looking good, man. I was looking at some of these stats, man. It's just eye-popping, man. It's totally eye-popping. James Conner had 170 yards on 18 carries. Man, DeMarco had 4 carries and 59 yards. Trey Benson 8 for 37. I mean, we stunk up the place. We really stunk up. Another thing that I don't like, man, maybe some people may disagree. Everybody puts this whole onus about the quarterback staying in the pocket, man. I've seen too many times where Caleb is just sitting there just waiting. And then he's got a wall around him where he can't move and he's getting sacked, man. It's like, I understand you should be in the pocket at certain times, but it's been quite a few times in this game where I saw him in the pocket and he's just there, just waiting. And then boom, with our offensive line, man, with the way it's been going and how iffy it is, I would be trying to get him out or something, or I don't know. I don't have a clue.
I agree with you, Guy. It's nothing wrong with moving your quarterback and change his launch point because he's good at those launch points. You're not moving him because he can't read the field. You're moving him to get him easy throws and to create some kind of right. You don't see no naked boost. And like Dino, who's watching out on Facebook. Dino mentioned he said they all played horrible. The last game was on flukes, this game on the players. Chef taking out all the skilled players out, running the ball more, play action could have helped. It sure could have. And
that would have been a
I'm
good
not
idea.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why they continue to always want to be in shotgun. You could go on the center, run the ball. Play action kind of work better. You know what? This is what the interesting thing on some of their handoffs. They're so fast with the handoff that literally Caleb is standing there waiting to hand the ball off to the back.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like there's no surprise or element when they're running the ball. But I think the Bears are at a point, like I'm saying, that I don't see them right now. I don't see them beating New England next week. I think they're in a funk. And it's going to continue to spiral out of control if they make no changes.
They better beat New England. New England got one win this year. They better win. But here's something to answer Dino. We only rushed the ball 23 times today.
Yeah,
23 times.
Passes.
That's what I mean. Bernard was on that. Bernard was talking about that too, about the 4 plays. Like, oh no, and he's absolutely right about that. Because who are you fooling on a play action? Who are you fooling sitting up in the pocket, looking around, waiting for guys to get open? And then when your Deuce and Caleb did make some rookie mistakes where he overthrew a few balls or whatever. But by the same token, the problem I'm seeing right now, which we could say it's on the players, and that's absolutely right. But when Komet's not getting catches, when we're running the ball 23 times, when our defense is getting smoked, I'm looking at the receiving thing. I don't think Komet had even a catch. Nope, he didn't have a catch in this game.
I
No,
don't
he
think he
didn't.
had a target.
Oh, he had a target. He just,
I,
yeah,
I,
well,
I don't think he had a target today.
yeah. Let's see. Adunze had 5. Keenan Allen had 4. DJ had 4. DeAndre Swift had 6. Roshan had 2. Gerald Everett had 1. Komet 0. And I thought that with this 11 and 12 personnel that he's bringing, that basically Komet was going to eat. And everything that, like I said, man, everything that I see right now, you could say it's on the players, and I get that. But just like I said, as the coach has to be the adult in the situation. And then when you look at the players, and I look at this box score, and I don't see Komet scratching. I see 22 rushes. I see DJ having 33 yards today. That's somebody upstairs. I'm not saying Poles, because Poles gave us stuff that we needed, and it's up to these guys to put it together. But when our team is playing this bad, you probably had a doggone probably undefeated Miami Dolphins on this squad, and if he was coaching, they'd probably lose the game.
Yeah, guy. Here's my problem with the Bears this year. This is absolutely on the coaches. It's on the players too. So I'm not absolving the players of any part in this. However, when you have a coach, a whole coaching staff that comes in talking about the hits principle and how you want everybody to hustle and they got to be smart and you're going to hold the players accountable, and then you don't hold yourself accountable, that's got to affect the psyche of the team. Eberflus came out there after that historic loss that we had on Sunday, and basically, he pooped the bed. He was like, "Hey, the last player is the only one that made a difference, and I'd have did the same thing." And everybody's looking at it, and they say clearly, you have to be able to see where you failed, and you have to be able to be accountable with this because everybody's watching you. He sounded exactly like Matt Nagy to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you had DJ questioning some. He questioned this week the run play to Kramer.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not trying to compare my experience to his because he's a professional player, but I've been on the team one time before where I actually was looking at us. We in the huddle. We looking at the coach like, what is he doing? Right, this play is not going to work. And if you got professional players who know certain things are not going to work, and when they go to the press and say stuff about your play calling, that's them trying to tell the public we don't really trust this guy either. And they're trying to indirectly pressure management by talking to the press because they got access to the management right there. So they really don't have to do that in public. But why are they doing it in public? Because they're trying to create the environment that they're disappointed in what's going on. And so I don't know why these questions about Komet. I'm not sure why they're not using Komet anymore. I don't think he had any catches the previous game. I don't know, maybe 1 or 2.
And he's got 27 catches. He's second on catches behind DJ with 27 catches. He hasn't been getting them. But something that you were saying, man, if you put Helen Keller, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, the 3 blind mice in that doggone huddle for that Kramer play, every last one of them, like, I can't even see, but I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all better not run that damn play. It ain't even about being professional. It's just I hate to say it because I'm angry, not angry that we lost. I'm angry that we don't make adjustments and the coach has got this old golly gee shucks type deal and he's letting the players run the team. And I can tell you right now, I had them 10-7 with the way they're going right now. They'd be lucky to win 7 games.
Yeah.
Hey, Bernard, I see Dino's, he always makes great points. So it's why I love it when, Dino used to play for Western. Great brother. Glad that he's here. He's always got different tidbits to add. One of the things that he said is, one of the things the coaches can do is try to change the cadence and get the other side to draw sides. The problem with that is this: if the other team, if the other side of the ball doesn't respect you, they have no reason to jump off sides because they know as soon as you say go, they gonna end up winning in the trenches anyway. Our defensive line was horrible today. I don't know that we had any defensive lineman that actually even made a decent play. So, you know, whether you know they're gonna get off right away or it's gonna take a half a second. If they that bad, I can wait for them all day. I ain't got to jump or anything. I don't need that extra advantage. So
and it's actually a great point Dino making. Unfortunately, on the road, the Bears offensive line suffer from too many pre-snap penalties. So unfortunately, you'll be trying to draw the other team off, and your guys are jumping off, right? So that's the crazy part about them. But when you talk about the defensive line playing, somebody who should have never made it out of camp and he played today, Dominique Robinson. Dominique Robinson should not be on this team.
He's been stealing money for years, man.
Yeah. He shouldn't be on this team. Dominique Robinson played a lot, at least early on, and he doesn't fit whatever they're doing. But move on for Dominique Robinson. And I'm also saying the Bears missed 2 players for sure in the run game today. They missed Kyler Gordon and they missed They missed those 2 in the run game because really those are really the guys who really stops the run. These guys was coming up through holes, literally like Plank saying, they 7 to 8 yards up the field without being touched. And even that touchdown right before halftime, I think Jimmy Red mentioned it. That's what broke the Campbell's back right there, that run, because I think one guy kind of, wiped the dirt off his pants a little bit. That was about it.
You know what's funny too? We talked about this for quite a few years. It's bad when you look at the stats and the top 3 guys are defensive backs. You got Hicks had eight tackles with 4 solos. Tyreek Stevenson had 7 with 5 solos. Kevin Byard had 7 with 3. Then you got TJ with his 7 and 3. It's like if you with the way we played today, man, it's like I don't even think we even need to look at stats, man. All the stats to me was what we saw.
Today our wide receivers were so bad they didn't even get wet when the rain was hitting them. the rain didn't have the ability to catch them, man. So that was horrible, man. And I'm looking at all of them. I'm like, wow, there's no separation from our receivers, and even when there was separation, then you'd have rookie Caleb overthrowing, underthrowing. I was like, wow, we are definitely out of sync today. So, and Talib, you're right. They did miss Montez big time. I think he would have made a bit of a difference. So maybe we get somebody from the trading deadline before. I don't know who we could get before the trading deadline to change any of this stuff though.
Yeah, like Jimmy Red just mentioned screens. I know my brother had called earlier and he was talking about the Bears have kind of abandoned the screens the last few weeks. Now, just when I was praising the Bears a few weeks ago of being able to run successful screens, all of a sudden now the last 2 weeks, you're not running screens. You're under pressure. You're not running any slants. You're not even running. I'm trying to figure out, are you even running hot routes when you are getting pressure? You're seeing guys come in, and I think you really just relying on your quarterback to just maneuver through the pocket to just buy himself time, which is not a great way to coach your offense. You have to run hot routes. You got to have sight adjustment routes. I will say, looking at the Bears receiving core today, I would say at the most part, they didn't seem to be hustling. I hate to question guys hard, but they didn't seem to be hustling. And they was back to where they were as an offense the first 2 weeks, where they don't have enough. Their routes are too close to each other again. You're looking at routes where guys are literally 2 and 3 yards from each other. Right. There's not enough space. They had kind of cleaned that up, but that's why I cheered when they won those easy games against losing teams. Because I'm telling you, Bears fans, You got to take the wins and be happy when they happen. You can't be mad about winning against a bad team because you don't know when the next win gonna come.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, but you know what? But this is what I was trying to explain to Mo Man about bread and butter plays. I'll give an example. Remember when Pittsburgh had Jerome Bettis? When they were like, their offense was real bad and they couldn't execute, they just run a trap play to Bettis and they get to eat. They get 2 yards here and they run something else. They get 3-4 yards. Now you're getting the confidence back in your squad and now you're able to kind of do a little more, or you just keep doing the same thing until they stop. With us, it's almost like we just throw, sugar honey iced tea up to the wall and see if it sticks. It's like I could basically run the offense right now, just pull out the Madden Bears playbook and do a better job because, one, I'm making sure that we get yards. Number two, that stupid stuff, because it's Madden, I ain't scared to pull all my starters out. I know my squad, and I play Madden Stevenson going to sit on the bench. I'm sorry. It's just culture.
One other thing that I worry about with coaches like Shane Waldron is, when you have all of the vets from the team come in and they come up with their ideas of what you need to change, there's only so many times you can do that.
Yeah.
Early in the season, the vets can come in and say, hey, you're not doing any play action pass. You're not running the ball at a certain time. And, at that time, it might be useful. When you have to have a meeting about that every week, you have zero identity again. That's right back. That's a worse problem to have. So Shane Waldron is listening to what people say, and then he's trying to appease them, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm gonna do a run on first down, run on second down, and then pass on third, and that's my identity. At least I respect him from at least knowing who he is.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh man, we got Squirrel on here too.
Let's see what's Squirrel.
Say the Bears are horrible again.
Squirrel said Bears are horrible again. What's up, Squirrel? Squirrel's one of the legendary Kappas from Western
Members
Illinois.
of Kappa Alpha Psi Zeta Mu chapter. They just had a charter day or something like that. Congratulations, fellas.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Pike, I agree. It's only so much that you could listen to players, right? It's certain things you can listen to them, but at a certain point, that's why you the coach and they're not, right? You like take for example, a receiver. A receiver doesn't see what's happening behind him. He sees what's happening in front of him. And so sometimes most receivers gonna think they open all the time, right? But they may not. But it's up to the coaches to coach and the players to play. And you could take some suggestions, but at a certain point, you as a coach got to establish who you're gonna be, and you got to use your players for their best ability. There's no reason, like we go back to Komet. Komet is always open. You got to find ways to get him the ball. You got to find ways to get DJ the ball in space. Rome is a mismatch deep down the field. You got to be able to exploit that. Kenny, come on now. This is you come on, Kenny. You got to catch a ball like that. I mean, that ball hit you.
That was crazy.
You got to catch that.
Komet has the best hands on the team. I don't know that I've seen him drop many passes in the last 3 years. So not only is he open, but he's a good target and he's reliable. To your point, Bernard, Keenan Allen dropped 3 or 4 passes today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, I know you used to being a volume receiver and all of that, but if the ball hits you in the hand, last I heard, you're supposed to catch it.
That's unacceptable, man, for a guy like him. It's really unacceptable for any receiver, man. But that with Komet, like I say, quick, I would call him 7-11 because he's always open. My thing is, if I'm any kind of common sense as a coach, and I see he's not getting the ball, I'm getting it to him. If he's got a guy, then when they go out there and run, I'll make him a hot route. It's like, okay, I might have you come out here and do a curl, or I might have you do a drag. But what I might have you do is because I know that if Rome comes across or does such and such, that guy, the back guy, the front guy is going to follow whatever. I'm going to just have you cut your route off and just stop right here. And enough times that Komet is getting the ball thrown to him and he's getting receptions, now you condense the defense and it gives more one-on-one opportunities to the receivers. But I mean, we sit up and watch all day and stuff, and I know these coaches got to coach, but I would think that after all these years of them either playing football or coaching football, they know how to make some doggone adjustments.
Yeah,
That's
great point.
sometimes we have to utilize the quick game. Dink and dunk here. Epic
Hey, what's
fail.
up, Jay? Yeah,
What's
Jay.
up,
I forgot
Jay?
to mention Jay couldn't make the show today. Jay is out there with the Cardinals, man. What always happens, man? When we take over, we we lose. But actually, you just can't win on a roll. I mean, it don't.
Yeah.
That's bottled into that
0-18,
too, right? We just cannot win in a row. Dino, and you know what? I want to get to the defense next. I know we talked a lot about the offense, so
Nothing else
I'm
to say about the defense.
yeah, I'm gonna
That
say
was
a few more
horrible.
things about the offense. Then I'm gonna move on to the defense. Dino mentioned the short, get quick, utilizing a quick game. I agree with that. You know what? This is what there's also I'm seeing too is they make a play and it takes forever to get to the next play. It's like you could get 5 yards on a play, and then it's like they're up there, and then it's like they're doing too much at the line, and then they're talking. Then it seems like he got to tell somebody to play. And then they get back in like 5 seconds, and you like,
5 seconds left. Yep.
That's not how you run offense. If you get a rhythm, you move the ball. If you get 5 yards, you try to get that defense gas. And if you have to do it on short plays, you do it on short plays. If you do runs, you're doing quick hitter runs. If you get 5 or 6 on first down, why did for the life of me you come back and pass the ball? You just got 5 yards running. Sometimes you can run back to that same play. I swear the first 3 quarters, I sent y'all a note and said the Cardinals are basically only running 3 run plays. You know, they pretty much just ran the same play over and over, right? It may look a little different, but same play.
That's football 101. You can't stop it. We running it, man. Why don't they just go ahead and just play smash mouth? Just get the ball, do the Jim Brown, Roshan, and just say, "Give me the ball," and just get out the way and have him hit the pads a few times. And after a while, it's gonna soften up some guys, man. This old Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus, and then Caleb giving a handoff where he's showing everybody the ball, and we could clearly see his arm out. It's like we ain't fooling nobody.
Hey, today Arizona looked like the 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers for a minute, man. I was like, these dudes, they defensive linemen, they had 13 different players on their defense get pressure on the quarterback. It's not even possible. You only got 11 players on the field. So you had people coming off the bench and immediately putting pressure on your quarterback. So this wasn't even about players being good or bad. This is about a horrible scheme and a horrible team concept.
Yeah. No, see, the Bears came to play. Arizona came to win. There's a big difference because them dudes their defense was all over the place. I thought they had about 15 men on the field, man. I was like, good grief. But you could tell, y'all seen enough football you could tell, and Plank being a defensive guy know too. When you see the defense jumpy and antsy like that, them dudes is walking around like some straight up stone cold killers, man. They're like, okay, they fighting over who gonna tackle the guy. Whereas the Bears are like, okay, and I'm not going to really – I mean, the Bears' defense played bad, and I know people say I'm making excuses because they always do, but that's what a team is. When the defense – I'm tired of our defense bailing us out all the time. Now the defense didn't play so good, and the offense was horrible. So now it's making the defense think like, well, dag, we got to play great for us to win.
Well, we played horrible on defense, but we made up for it by sucking on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so that was a team loss today. Trust me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of the basic foundation of football is if you can't stop the run and you can't run, you're probably not winning.
Right.
Look, you can't stop the run. Look how much time in a quarter that they were eating up in a quarter because that the Bears just simply could not stop the run. See, the Bears, as well as their defense have played this year. One of the things that had helped them even through when they played a couple of teams that had losing records was their offense was producing, which was making teams stop running, right? Because if your offense produced to some point and they get in points, it's hard to keep running when you get behind in the game. But when you have a game like this week where you like at one point you was 6-7, then you're what was it? 10-6.
Yep.
that team could still run, and when you let them break off a run with about 12 seconds or something, whatever it was left before halftime, that get them all the confidence in the world that they could keep running on you, and they don't have to pass. So one of the things with the Bears defense is going to have to do is their defensive line has to improve. They have to improve because of now Montez Sweat may be out another game. You got to be able to play if he's not in there. You cannot say we just can't stop the run because Montez Sweat is not there. You're professional. You got to figure it out.
But you see what happened to us before we had Montez Sweat. We look just like this. You know what I'm saying? But I think people were kind of rattled about the Bears giving him money. And now you understand why. I mean, he was a huge loss. I mean, you know, with Gordon and Briscoe, they're like handfuls on the run game, and they do a whole lot more than people see. I mean, you're so used to seeing Briscoe put his hands out, and you know, people be cracking jokes. But if you sit down and watch the game, Gordon and Briscoe, them dudes seal off so many holes. And then if you got Sweat on the other side getting some pressure, now it gives the receivers less time to get open. Now you got guys open, and the only thing that really would have got us messed up if I dare say his name when Stevenson knocked that ball out of Harrison's hands on that catch, that long catch where he had it. I mean, yeah, it was a great play, but still, that's just how it is, man. It's just like now the guys really understand what it is with the secondary. You could be a great secondary, but if you don't have a pass rush, now the advantage goes to the receiver.
Yeah, Zach Pickens got his first game back from injury, and he might as well just sit back on the bench because that effort was horrible as well. They didn't even pinch the running back most of the time, man. This was horrible.
Right. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, like yeah, and it's funny because you can't really say the tackling was bad. They wasn't even getting in position to tackle. It was almost like, you know, guys was diving, trying to get back into play. But here, I want to mention this is off course, but I want to mention this. I'm mentioning it as of today, so nobody got to go back and quote me 10 games from now. I am right now glad we did not draft Marvin Harrison Jr. with the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
he looked.
That doesn't mean he not. No, nobody try to go crazy. That doesn't mean he not gonna be good or nothing like that. He literally looked like he wasn't even playing today, and the Bears wasn't even playing good defense. He literally fumbled the ball, got 2 balls knocked out his hand. It doesn't look like he's making an effort. And you know, watching this game, but I don't know. I'm just brought that up. Let's get back on point.
He's got some growing pains. You know, a lot of that is, you know, him and his dad got one set of rules or one set of ideas of how he's going to be successful, and I don't think anybody else in the NFL has been successful following that. So we're going to see if it works out the way he thinks it is.
Hey, man, Dino said something interesting. He said there's no one the other team is afraid of except Sweat, Gordon, and Briscoe. Well, of course, TJ, but he can't do it by himself. Old school would pop that A, send messages. You know what I missed and I call it now, I call it the panty league, where it's a lot of stuff that's not really bad plays, but they're calling whistles on. At least if you got a nice little hit on somebody or whatever it is and make them blink, man, they could have basically did like a walk through today with their running backs, and they still would have got 107 yards. Mm-hmm. Nobody's scared. Yeah. Nobody's scared to do anything. They're not worried about anything. I mean, all they do is they get the ball. These guys are getting the ball. And as soon as they see more than 2 Bears players, they start covering up and holding the ball. And I mean, I got nothing, man.
Yeah, the leading tackler for the Bears today was Elijah Hitz, a DB.
Mm-hmm.
That's never a good plan if you have a DB leading you in tackles.
And the 1, 2, and 3 were all DBs.
Yeah. And you're talking about a team that only threw the ball, what? I ain't got the stats in front of me, but what, about 15 attempts or so?
If that.
20. 13 for 20.
13 for, so you're talking about, so this is not them making plays on receivers. The Bears defensive back. These are these guys making plays on running backs. That means the ball carrier is getting to that level fairly easy. So what you are seeing is linemen who are not. They're really. I know. There's a couple of times they were knifing the end and the offensive lineman just kind of like went to the next level and got to the linebacker, right? Kind of almost just let them get out of their gap. Maybe guy kind of turned sideways, got out of his gap. Okay, cool. They just got to the second level, blocked the linebacker, and then you seeing the running back coming through on that second level, not even being touched. And now the only body left is the corner and safety. That was happening all day. And I was looking at, I can't even remember his name, number 31. I was looking at, man, that dude looked like his 40 time was like a 4.7.
Hey, some of those Bears DBs were making some career decisions today. They did not want no parts of Connor. You're right, Dino. They were like, let's let me look like I'm gonna make a tackle, and maybe I could catch him from behind. So that dude was running them over like he was Bo Jackson, man. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, so what was whatever the game plan today was, they need to burn it, because if you look at Washington last week, who definitely offense is better than the Cardinals, who really struggled. They didn't get a touchdown until the Hail Mary. And then you come in on a team like this that they offensively, like Dino said, they just bullied you. They just ran it down your throat and dared you to stop them from running. And at one point, in reality, right in the fourth quarter, I don't know, was the Cardinals just trying to get Kyler Murray some more passing stats or something? Because they stopped passing when it was up 29-9. Like, why are y'all passing the ball? They probably could have had another 60 or 70 yards on the ground. The Bears only touched the ball in the fourth quarter a few times just because they started passing. If they had been running, they would have ran that whole quarter out running the ball,
You're right.
But that running, they ran the ball so well, it was like, man, it's almost like shooting the guys that come down and shoot a long three and hit it, and he come up again and shoot us like a heat check. I guess he probably threw it and said, let me see if I could just chuck this joke up here. It wasn't like nothing was going to happen if he got picked off.
No. I mean, you talking about Stevenson actually could have had a pick today. He had a play on the goal line. Matter of fact, it ended up resulting in points. He had a play that with a ball hit him right in the numbers that he never turned around. And I want to say that eventually ended up being the series where they had the field goal that was pulled off the board. Then they ended up getting the penalty, and then they ended up scoring. I mean, it was one play on the goal line where their tight end just bullied. I don't know why I can't think his Buyer just stiffed on him like, yeah, I'm about to score. What are you trying to do?
Yep.
They didn't get the memo. The Cardinals didn't get the memo that the Bears had a good defense. They didn't get the memo. They didn't tell them that.
Sometimes that's how you have to play.
Yeah.
Prove to me that y'all can play. Let's see.
Well, we were who they said we were. Deja vu like a mofo. Yeah, it's bad, man. What can you do? I mean, yeah.
Hey, Jason, I'm sorry. I know I've been meaning to get you on, man. I'm shoot you something this week and see if I can get you on next week for the Patriots game. I know I've mentioned it a few times. So
play offensive
inbox this week, Jason.
He ain't never lied. But here's the sad part about it, though. He was talking about they use the same game plan as they did 30 years ago. But with that being said, on the other side of the ball, that's why a lot of these young guys know who a Larry Zonk is, or Jerome Bettis, or John Riggins, and guys like that. They were running backs, and they got the ball. Coaches understood that they could open up their whole offense by successfully running the ball, and don't abandon it until you completely shut us down. And running is never going to go out of style, man. I don't care. People call it a passing league and all this other stuff or whatever, but if you can't run the ball, you can't win a Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, but you can't compare our running game to those with a running back that weighs 185 pounds on there.
Right. That's the principle. It's not the thing, but it's the principle. It's just like anything else. If you take a component from 30 years ago that worked, now what happens, it should work even better because the players are faster, stronger, and bigger. And if they've had so much success back then, as far as being able to successfully and efficiently run the ball. Think about now. You got the players, like I say, you got a guy, Larry Zonka would probably run about a 4.5 now, and he'd be about 230 pounds. So imagine implementing a strategy to where we gonna run this mofo until y'all stop us. And Sweat, Sweat's doing good, but Sweat is more of an elusive back than a killer, man. They need to get Roshan some more touches and scuff up some defenses, man.
Well, he ain't it either. So
no, but that's all we got.
Well, we had Khalil Herbert, but I guess they're looking to trade him. So I don't know what the answer is going to be.
Yeah, because they didn't even suit him up today. He was inactive. He was inactive today. For whatever reason, they want to trade him, and I'm assuming that's why he's hasn't got any carries on offense since I think Game 3 was the last time he probably actually got any offensive plays. But the Bears navigate this space they're in, they're at a difficult point because you have to look at what is this team hoping to achieve. And when you watch everybody in your division are above 500. And when you look at right now, Washington is leading their division and the Eagles is right on their tail. You're pretty much out of the playoff if you keep trending the way you're trending, because 3 teams in your division is in front of you and the Eagles are even in front of you. That could be possibly your 3 wild card teams. I think it's 3. Yeah, it's 3 now wild card. How do you even get back in there? So it's really like how do you turn this team around, and how did you not lose the locker room? Because the players come in with high hope. And you sold them on that this guy was going to turn it around. That's why I always prefer the quarterback and the coach to be on the same schedule when you draft a rookie quarterback, because that's where you don't get that. We got a new head coach, and then we got a new offensive coordinator in their second year. You could at least have somebody who's going to ride with him the whole 4 years. And even if your OC get a new job, he got quarterback coaches and all that can keep the same system. In this case, you're looking at, you got to let go. So we had to now admit that Shane Waldron probably played very little in the success of what's the guy's name at Seattle?
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, yeah.
No, I'm talking the quarterback.
Gino.
It has to be more if it was Pete Carroll than Shane Waldron.
Or writing in the bottle. That is something that he conveyed to Gino, maybe made a little more sense. I think a lot of times what we do is we get happy when we hear about these offensive coordinators and these stories. But what I find is the successful offensive coordinators, it translates to teams. Even if the team is bad, whatever concept they're bringing in usually works. But the unfortunate part about this, man, with what we're dealing with right now is it's just like the same old same. And maybe it's just me, but I'm going to put it out there. I think that when it comes to the Bears players or organization, whatever it is, I think that Green Bay lives rent-free in their head. You saw what happened to Green Bay today. I think a lot of times on the slide, they look to see what happens to Green Bay. Green Bay lost, but still Green Bay is, as much as I hate to say this, they're not going to be losing games like we lost, Well,
you know what? As a fan, I don't think the Bears, I don't think the Bears can say that we're here, that we've arrived until we beat Green Bay. In our division, we've beaten Minnesota a couple times. We've beaten Detroit a couple times. We haven't beaten Green Bay since I was in high school, it seems like. So
1942.
I don't know what's going on there. So we got to come out there. As far as I'm concerned, I'm changing my expectations of the year, and I'm trying to level set. I say I want to make sure when we play Green Bay, we look like a Bears team that we can take forward.
Right.
I think I might be wishing for a little bit too much, but I don't run from bullies. Let's see what we got.
That's true.
Yeah, my expectation this year is being lower, but I did not think this was a playoff team, even though I had them around 10-7. I didn't think that was going to be good enough to be playoff. But at this point, those expectations are really going to drop more closer to maybe 7 victories at this point, right? Unless they're able to turn something around, they're probably more closer to 7, because you probably could squeak out 3 more wins here and there. But until they could show that they could
I don't know, Bernard.
actually, it may be hard, right?
Well, we still got Minnesota twice, we got Green Bay twice, we got Detroit twice, we've got Seattle, and we got the 49ers. I don't know how we gonna get victories out of those games.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
He's not looking good at all.
Not at all. It's just
We probably can beat New England, but they might sneak Tom Brady back in the game. You never know what happens. They've been known to cheat at epic layers there, so you never know, man. But yeah, this is pretty low, and I felt pretty excited on game days for the Bears playing for years. But when the Bears lose, my whole week is just shot. So this is another example of me not gonna be happy this week, and I'm gonna be angry at a bunch of people and hollering at my kids and all kind of other stuff. So hopefully I can cool out and be a little bit better as a human being than that.
You know what? And what's even worse too, man, which kills me more than anything else, we don't look like other teams. You know what I'm saying? There's teams that aren't that great, but there's certain things that they can execute. Like, it just looks like we just out there, and it's like they throwing a play, and like, like when a cadence change or something, you see the guy turn around and look. It just seemed like all the players like, what am I supposed to do? It's like they don't even know what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's coaching, right? That's coaching, right? Because
hey, don't say that too loud. Jay gonna get mad, man.
I bet you ain't gonna get mad at it today, though.
Okay.
Hey, Jay coming over to the dark side with us a little bit. Jay said,
Jay gonna go off next time.
Hold on, what Jay said? Jay said the team looked like they quit on him today or something. What Jay said?
They do.
That's horrible, man. That's just sad. You could give it to a team that's not that good, but you see they out there just balling out. They trying to make it do. It's almost like they're going through the motions. It's almost like, okay, black 59 razor, sad hike. Okay. It's just like I said, man, they don't look like any other team. I've seen some teams that aren't great, but you can kind of see the guys are just like really butthurt about playing bad. Okay, epic fail, lackluster effort from everyone. Well, Jay, at least it's 70 degrees out there in Glendale. But yeah, man, that's
yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, but you great guy. It looked like you watch some teams and it looked like they at least look like they know who they want to be. When you watch the Bears at this point right now, you don't know who they want to be, and they need to stop trying to be a finesse team. It's hard to be a finesse team if you don't have good blocking. It's hard to. I'm talking about offense. You could be finesse when you got good blocking and you can run different stuff, right? You can run stuff. I don't even understand why they just don't run up the middle sometimes, right? That's really your easiest run on any play. Let your guys get to pushing forward. Defensively, I'm not sure what they're doing. I think it's an epic fail across the board because they even did some stuff on special teams today. They almost had a couple plays ran back. Then what was that play after the safety? I mean, you literally just let's punt the ball. Let's punt the ball. Let's just get the ball on the other side of the field.
Well, but they can't run up the middle because they center Shelton. I think he bench presses about 85 pounds.
That much?
There's no way you're gonna tell me he's a professional center at this. Maybe he used to be when he won a championship with the Rams. He was good then. That ain't the same guy that we watching now. So
yeah, but good players around you hide a lot of deficiencies too. But you get exposed.
Well, if you got a lot of suck players around you, that exposes a lot of deficiencies too, don't it?
Mm-hmm. It sure does. But and the sad part about it, I was reading this article today where they talk about the run, man, and they mentioned Cody Whitehead. And I almost wanted to disagree, but I'm like, well, he had his problems, but at least we could run. But it's a past tense. It don't matter. I'm in a way, I'm glad he's not here.
I done heard a lot of the ex-Bears running around at different teams, and Most of them right in the middle or whatever. But I wish him luck. How about that?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Man, this is such a bad performance. For me, there's no reason to separate the grades. The team itself get an F. I mean,
yep.
they didn't do anything good today to me at all.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna get me to give different grades to anybody. I give the entire organization an F, based
But I'm
on
gonna give
today's effort.
Torrey Taylor's gonna get a D- though. And the reason why, yeah, he kicked that ball straight up in the air, but he at least averaged 67 yards a punt.
No, on the safety, that was ridiculous. They fair catching. I think he kicked it. He almost kicked it through the dome. So it's a good thing they closed the dome. Otherwise, he might have hit the top of it. That's the worst
They're
I've
stuck on
seen him
the
play.
roof. They're stuck on the roof.
At least we used to be able to cheer for the punter, man. Today he even sucks. So I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And Cairo Santos was perfect with kicking his extra points, and he's like, yeah, I guess we gonna get an F anyway. They probably would have got F squared if he had missed one.
Well, I think it was
No, he had
opposite.
extra points because they didn't get no touchdowns.
Well, field goals, whatever it was 3 for 3 for something.
Yeah,
they might have
field
gave him
goals.
some stuff.
Wow.
They might have just gave him some stuff too, man. But yeah, it's just we can't even split the grades up, man. It was just bad all around, man. But I do wish, and like I said, as a Bears fan, watching all these other teams, how these organizations operate, I wish they would stop with this old tradition stuff with coaches like, oh, well, we're gonna fire the coach at the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even going out here and just completely dogging coaches out in general. But what I'm saying is usually like it's your job. If you suck at your job, they're not gonna wait till after the Christmas party to fire you. They're gonna probably they'll probably keep you to Christmas and have you go get all the drinks and stuff and the ice, then tell you can't come to the party and fire you right there.
You know what though? We should have been able to peep game on Eberflus going back earlier. You remember he the only coach I've ever heard having 2 of his coaching staff get fired for HR violations, and we still don't know what they did.
Yeah, you're supposed to scoot other team over, not your personnel.
Well,
that's how bad his administration has been in reality, right? You HR is firing your staff, and to me, this has been with him about as worse of coaching staff as it goes back when we had Trestman, where it was just like. And if you look at that team with that year Trestman had, they had a lot of talent. When you look at that team, I mean that offense had Matt Forte, it had Brandon Marshall, it had Marcellus Bennett, it had Alshon Jeffrey. Line was a decent, but that team actually sucked all the way across the board. They never made a playoff because the coaching was just horrible.
Yeah,
and the sad part about it, no matter how bad Eberflus is, no matter how bad he's doing, when he gets fired from the Bears, if he applies for a job, he gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's sad when I can get into this whole thing, and a lot of people would dog me out for it, but I can see a whole lot of credible coaches out there who I think, I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, at least give a guy a chance to come in, but you just recycle the same coaches, just like with Eberflus. I'm wondering if they did their due diligence and realized that 0 for 12 or whatever it is. I'm like, they probably looked at it and says, oh, well, a change of scenery would do something. But then you get a brother out here who's been with a winning organization, has shown he's had his fingerprints on things, and he can't get interviewed.
Yeah, that's true.
You starting to bring up other points though. So Eberflus is 3-14, 7-10, 4-4. So he's 14 out of 28, and he's 0 for 17 on Sundays against a winning team.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we need to hear?
Yeah.
If he's playing basketball, he's shooting 50% from the field. That's it.
That's what 25% from the field, 20%.
14 for 28.
Yeah, we're not gonna let you shoot all them threes if you hitting like that, man.
Yeah. But man, yeah, it's just like it's one of them things, man, where we can point to so many different things and it gets to the place it's exhausting.
Yeah. Well, it's disappointing. I know we get ready for this week coming up against the Patriots, which is a home game. And we'll see what the Bears do this week. But if they do the same thing and roll the same product out, I don't see. I know New England only has won 2 games, but when the coaches is losing the team, you lose those games that you think you're supposed to win. And really, you become the team that everybody marks on their schedule that you are the easy victory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, Plank, anything else when we close out?
No, man, but I'm gonna start crying as soon as we get off this.
Hey, you got anything, guy, before we close out for the day?
Nothing, man. My guy talking to Mike Patterson. Mike was under the weather early the week, man, but he's back amongst the kicking it, man. I caught him in the store shopping. So, what up, Mike? Glad you're doing better, man. Bear down. That's all I got.
Yeah, good to have all y'all here. Subscribe to the podcast. I appreciate having Jason, Dino, Squirrel come here, Jimmy Red. So y'all with us, and we like the support, and we like to just get out here and have the conversation. So thank y'all for joining.
Yeah, hey, thank everybody for tuning in. Like Plank saying, to Bears Banter. This is the 5th season of Bears Banter. These are the Sundays where it's hard to come on and talk about this, right? Because you're so optimistic when the season starts, and then we kind of go down the same road again every season. But until next time, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and we'll see you Friday. Peace.
Peace.